We're coming to you from the Radford Studio Center lot in Studio City, right over the hill from Hollywood. This is the place where dreams are made, legends are born. Hello and welcome to The Lot. I'm Suzanne Marques. We are remembering legendary crooner Tony Bennett, who died this week at the age of 96. He won 20 Grammys, including the Lifetime Achievement Award in 2001. Frank Sinatra called him the best singer in the business and even mentored him, who passed down that kindness to Lady Gaga, who he lovingly referred to as Lady.
I've got you. Yes, I do. Under my skin.
A legend on stage, Tony Bennett was opening for Pearl Bailey when Bob Hope discovered him in 1949 in a New York nightclub.
You know, it's been about 16 years since I discovered you singing in a Greenwich Village nightclub. How come this is your first appearance on my television show?
Well, I've been waiting for you to make good.
He had a string of hits in the 50s, but the best was yet to come. He won his first Grammy in 1963 for his song I Left My Heart in San Francisco and performed it on The Judy Garland Show.
I left my heart. You know, I asked Sinatra, why do you think we stayed around so long? And he said, because we stayed with good songs.
When his son Danny became his manager, he revitalized his career with the MTV generation.
Look, it's Tony Bennett.
Hey, good to see you. I had The Simpsons. We did a commercial for MTV, and they liked it so much they gave me an unplugged special, and that won Album of the Year. Fly me to the moon.
He collaborated with singers like Amy Winehouse and Lady Gaga for The Lady is a Tramp.
I never bother with people that I hate.
At 85, he became the oldest living artist to hit #1 on the Billboard 200 chart with his Duets 2 album. He toured with Lady Gaga promoting their album Cheek to Cheek, yet his talent went beyond singing. He was an accomplished painter with artwork at the Smithsonian.
I have a charmed life because I've always known what I wanted to do.
The son of a grocer and seamstress, he married 3 times with 4 children. He and his third wife, Susan, founded the Exploring the Arts Foundation and opened the Frank Sinatra School of the Arts in New York.
Everybody has a dream, a hope that something's going to work for them, and then when it happens, it's a great joy.
Tony had the nickname Tony Benefit for his activism. He marched with Dr. King in Selma, Alabama, and was honored by the King Center in 2002. He also won the United Nations Humanitarian Award in 2006. Fans are remembering him as the last of his kind. He even could have been part of the Rat Pack. Old Blue Eyes Frank Sinatra was his best friend, but Tony said their touring schedule was just too intense for him. He will be truly missed by so many people. Greta Gerwig made a movie that will be nostalgic for any of us who played with Barbies, but also addresses the hopes and dreams that can be crushed as little girls grow up.
Hi, Barbie!
Hi, Ken.
Welcome to Barbie Land, the home of Barbie and her rainbow of shapes and forms, and Ken too. Margot Robbie takes the lead as the stereotypical doll, but in this film, she is so much more.
This is the best day ever.
It is the best day ever.
Barbie and her pals are enjoying a typical dance party when,
Do you guys ever think about dying?
from there, her perfect life starts to fall apart.
My heels are on the ground. She kind of hits all the notes that you'd ever want to hit as an actor. Like there's very high highs and very low lows, and there's big physical comedy, and there's really heartfelt, profound moments.
What are you doing here?
I'm coming with you.
As a father, Ryan Gosling found taking on the role of Ken serendipitous.
It all landed in my house at the same time, the script, Barbies in general, and, you know, it's just all so true. It's brilliant.
Oscar-nominated writer-director Greta Gerwig says her film has a message for everyone.
And I wanted to make a movie that said, no, you're worthy just as you are.
Mattel created Barbie in 1959.
Everyone had a Barbie, and it was the thing to have a Barbie.
Back in 2014-15, we hit a low, and it was a moment to reflect in the context of why did Barbie lose relevance? She didn't reflect the physicality, the look, if you will, of the world around us.
Now Barbie, Ken, and friends have many skin tones, shapes, and special traits that make them look more like all of us. But this year's first quarter sales at Mattel slumped, down 22% from last year. Mattel hopes the film will give them the boost they're looking for. The movie has calculated for the haters.
We haven't played with Barbie since we were like 5 years old. Oh.
And for some, you're never too old for Barbie.
I am 90 years old. Or I should say, 90 years young.
Carol Spencer didn't grow up playing with Barbies.
This was my first project.
But Barbie wouldn't be Barbie without her.
I was a designer for the Barbie doll starting in 1963 for over 35 years. And I loved every minute of it.
She helped make the doll that helped make Mattel. As other toys have come and gone, Barbie still struts along.
Barbie really carried Mattel for a great many years. I thought of every child who played with the Barbie doll as my child. So let me tell you, I have a big family, and I love it.
And that is the magic and power of Barbie. Meanwhile, superstar Billie Eilish has a new song and music video for the Barbie movie. Sir Ben Kingsley also befriends an alien in a new sci-fi comedy. And there's also a new documentary about the Lakota Nation.
I'm sad again. Don't tell my boyfriend it's not what he's made for.
Here's a look at Billie Eilish's self-directed video for What I Was Made For. It's her contribution to the Barbie soundtrack. She just wants to sort through her Barbie clothes, but the elements have other ideas.
A UFO has crashed in my backyard, has taken out my azaleas, and destroyed my bird bath.
When you talk like that, it makes them all take us less seriously.
Did you just say UFO?
Ben Kingsley's quiet small-town life is upended by an alien in Jewels. This quirky comic drama is about the search for meaning in life. It lands in theaters this August.
If you can make the people suffer by destroying their economic system and their languages and their culture, then you can try to conquer a people.
Lakota Nation versus United States traces the Lakota Indians' attempts to reclaim the Black Hills after the government violated treaties and stole the sacred land. The documentary on the nation's debt to indigenous communities is open in theaters now. If you like the movies Sideways and The Descendants, two of my favorites, we have your first look at Alexander Payne's new film starring Paul Giamatti. And this is definitely Taylor Swift's era. She keeps breaking records. Now, Taylor's version tops the Billboard 200 chart with the biggest first week sales of any album this year. It's Taylor Swift's 12th #1, the most of any female artist in history, and she's the first female artist ever to have 4 albums in the chart's top 10. Simultaneously, Midnights is #5, Lover is #7, and Folklore is #10.
Sir, I don't understand.
That's glaringly apparent.
I can't fail this class.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Mr. Coates. I truly believe that you can.
Paul Giamatti re-teams with his Sideways director, Alexander Payne, for The Holdovers. Giamatti plays a widely disliked boarding school teacher who unexpectedly bonds with a student when they're both stuck at school over winter break.
Do you think I want to be babysitting you? No, I was praying your mother would pick up the phone or your father would arrive in a helicopter or a flying saucer.
My father's dead. You don't tell a boy that's been left behind at Christmas that nobody wants him? What's wrong with you?
Dominic Sessa and Davine Joy Randolph also star.
Now, most of the kids dislike you, pretty much hate you. Teachers too. You know that, right?
I find the world a bitter and complicated place, and it seems to feel the same way about me.
The Holdovers opens in select theaters October 27th and in wide release November 10th.
I'd like to propose a toast to my 2 unlikely companions.
Keep it here on The Lot. When we come back, The Lot's Markina Brown has more on the other big movie opening this weekend.
Oh yeah, real excited about this one. Critics are claiming Christopher Nolan's new movie is a masterpiece. I'm Markina Brown. We talk to the director and cast of Oppenheimer coming up next.
Welcome back to The Lot. Two big movies are out this week. In fact, some people are spending all day at the movies for a double feature. And The Lot's Markina Brown is joining me now with the film to watch before Barbie, right?
Yeah, that's right. Acclaimed director Christopher Nolan makes big moves from Inception to Interstellar to the Dark Knight trilogy. For Oppenheimer, he tackled one of the biggest stories of all time, and critics are praising the film for being its best yet, a biographical masterpiece. Take a look.
We're in a race against the Nazis. And I know what it means if the Nazis have a bomb.
Cillian Murphy plays the father of the atomic bomb in Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer.
This is a matter of life and death. I can perform this miracle.
World War II would be over. Our boys would come home.
We're trying to not judge the man. We're trying to experience things with him and understand the man. And I felt that Cillian, who's one of the great actors of his generation of all time, he has that unique empathetic ability to draw the audience into the truth of the situation.
Nolan sought Murphy for the title role after casting him as a supporting character in 5 of his previous films.
I was so exhilarated to be given the opportunity. You know, it's a kind of a dream part, but it's so multifaceted and massive.
His co-stars also felt the scope and weight of the story.
A huge amount of humility was required from this whole cast to kind of come in and say, this is a really delicate and important story, and we want to service it correctly.
It confronts you with things that are so much bigger than you on a human level and on a physical world level in what we live in.
And yet it's an emotional movie because Chris really and Cillian really pulled off that initial thing that he said. You do come through Oppenheimer's eyes.
I don't know if we can be trusted with such a weapon. But we have no choice.
Christopher Nolan says he showed the movie to another filmmaker who describes it as a horror story, and he agrees. Oppenheimer is 3 hours long and rated R. I'm Markina Brown for The Lot. Back to you, Suzanne.
Thank you, Markina. Movie critic Grae Drake is here. She has seen both movies, and I even love your t-shirt. Beautiful reference.
Hashtag Barbieheimer. It's a big weekend. And Oppenheimer is super dense, but super important.
Okay, so let's talk about Barbie. That's been the talk of the town. What did you think?
Equally as important, shockingly so. Because when you think about Barbie, she's so many things all at once. She's fun, she's sparkly, she's beautiful, but she's also kind of problematic. And so the movie really juggles all of that when Barbie goes from Barbie land, having an existential crisis, into the real world. You are not prepared for what this movie actually is.
Which I love, because most people probably assumed it's just fluff.
Exactly. It's the opposite. In fact, I would say is probably one of the most important movies I've seen this year. Like, no joke, but at the same time, I was laughing and I had a blast watching it. It's everything all at once. I don't know how they did it.
Okay, well, let's show them a very special clip of Ryan Gosling as Ken.
I have feelings that I can't explain, driving me insane. All my life been so polite, 'cause I'm just kidding.
Energy.
Kenergy, I love it. But even though it's so fun, playful, he is a total object, it's also a deeper observation of gender roles.
That's right. That's what happens when you hire Greta Gerwig to direct and co-write your movie. It delivers on every level, but I'll tell you, it's PG-13 for a reason. Your very young children are not going to understand this.
Okay, good to know. So buy the toys for the kids and rest of us go watch it.
Exactly. And the good news is that there's plenty of stuff on streaming that's also celebrating like female subjects, topics that are pertinent to gender, and also by female directors.
Okay, so let's talk about a movie both of us really love, The Virgin Suicides. Here's a clip.
Lux lost it over Kevin Haynes, the garbage man. She'd wake up at 5 in the morning and hang out casually on the front steps, like it wasn't completely obvious. She wrote his name in marker on all her bras and underwear, and Mom found them and bleached out all the Kevins. Lux was crying on her bed all day.
Sofia Coppola.
She's incredible.
This was her first feature film that was an adaptation of a book. And the book itself is incredibly lyrical, and it's about the story of 5 sisters and their life in mid-70s Detroit. Unfortunately, it covers their life and also their deaths. And this really set her up as the auteur that she became with all of her other films like Marie Antoinette and Lost in Translation. And when you go back and watch it, it's so haunting and it's so beautifully realized. She definitely comes from an amazing pedigree, with her father being Francis Ford Coppola.
Yes, and it just celebrates the enjoyment of being a girl.
Right, and that's what's wild about it, is that it's such a macabre subject, but at the same time, like really relatable for anyone that is a girl, knows a girl, is around girls. It's pretty amazing.
Okay, let's talk about one of the coolest girls who has ever lived, Blondie. Check her out. I mean, who hasn't wanted to be Debbie Harry?
Oh my God, no one with any sense. Because she's magical. And she also kind of didn't exist anywhere in any band as a singer in anywhere else in New York or all over the world. And so this documentary talks about the recording of Parallel Lines, which was their 3rd studio album. And what's great about this documentary is that this whole band is so colorful and they're so talented, but really, Debbie Harry is so magnificent. Every time she pops up on screen, I got so excited. They fought to make this album. They really did a lot to try and like cross into the mainstream because they were a punk band. I had so much fun watching this because I was learning, but then I also was like, God, these songs are amazing.
Right, it's fun when you can rock out and also get some knowledge in between.
Right, like Debbie Harry is amazing and I want to be here, but also like I raised myself a couple IQ points.
Exactly. Well, Grae, thank you so much for joining us. Always great to see you. I can't wait to have my own Barbieheimer moment this weekend.
Yes, take provisions. It's a long day, but it's worth it.
Thank you so much, Grae. And when we come back, Transformers Rise of the Beast just arrived on digital. I chat with the directors about what 90s movie inspired the script. I'm sure you know this answer. And a new character when we come back. Transformers Rise of the Beasts is now available on digital to buy or rent. And if you haven't seen it, it's an absolute thrill ride. The directors tell me it was inspired by a 90s movie classic starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Transformers Rise of the Beasts introduces a new character, a hero named Mirage, voiced by Pete Davidson.
That felt good!
He's a Porsche 911 from 1994, and filmmaker Stephen Caple Jr. introduces Mirage in tribute to the sports car in the film that inspired him to make movies.
Oh, damn. Sorry. Get it.
Bad Boys inspired me as a kid to actually become a filmmaker. I kid you not. So yes, I'm not saying that because Michael Bay's on this project. When I literally met him, my mom has all the receipts. She has videos of this. We'll never show the world. But yeah, when I saw Bad Boys as a child and seeing Martin Lawrence and Will Smith like together on screen was like groundbreaking for me.
All right, now you want something bad enough? Come get some. You like that? Wesley Snipes, Passenger 57.
When I got the project, so I had already made Bad Boys 2 and 3 before Michael Bay even thought about it. So when I got the project and we started developing the character, we had a generic car at first in place, but when Holdovers mentioned Porsche, it just kind of sparked. Holdovers were the writers on the project. it just kind of sparked everything. It put everything into place. And so we'll start developing his personality. It just felt like the right, collabo.
And he's a great character.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you boys got this. Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
Mirage fights for the forces of good alongside Optimus Prime, a tough character with a good heart, but also a rebellious streak, which led to the filmmakers going through 5 cars by the end of filming.
We were rough on these cars, I gotta be honest. They're 30-year-old cars, and just the support that we had at all times. I mean, we jumped one like 20 feet, and it kind of bottomed out, and it was a problem. We thought it was dead. It went over there, and then they were like, "It's ready," and it came back in the set. We were like, "Let's shoot."
And do you have a need for speed?
I do. My wife will definitely tell you that. I have a heavy foot, for sure. But I've been slowing down a lot. I have a baby now. My first child, so I've been like, I still drive a Porsche. I have a Cayenne,
Nice.
but it's turbo.
Yeah. Had a baby in the back.
Yes, also Porsche.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still, we still keep it there. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, it never leaves your blood.
Does it at all?
It was all a dream. Woo! The name's Mirage.
I used to have a Porsche back in the day. Good memories. Jimmy Eat World has rocked the music industry for the past 30 years, and now they're back on tour. Frontman Jim Adkins sat down with our director of streaming and digital, BJ Dahl, to share the key to their success.
It just takes some time, then it'll build in a little out the ride. Everything'll be just fine. Everything'll be alright.
I wanted to say, first of all, happy band birthday. 30 years. Wow. Do you have are you celebrating with a cake?
Yeah, I think we kind of go more cupcakes, because then everyone can have the individual one. Get into the hard-hitting, important journalism stuff here today.
That's what I'm all about.
This is important stuff, man. You got to know.
People want to know.
If you're this sudden,
When you guys started out, did you think that you were going to do this for a living? I mean, did you see
No.
And we'll be doing this?
No, not at all. I'm still not exactly convinced I'm doing this for a living. Exactly. This is just something, and maybe that's why we've been able to do this for so long. It's not lost on me that it's rare. We have gotten the opportunity to play music for as long as we have. When I think about us and this being a 30-year project so far, I just think wow, you better find something rewarding in it, because if you're not, then you've just wasted 30 years.
What's a tour been so far?
It's been awesome. Yeah, I have nothing to complain about. Sometimes when you start a tour, you're kind of working out the kinks for a week or so, and I really don't feel that already. If you're not nervous or uncomfortable a little bit, you're kind of doing this wrong. You got to sort of push yourself a little bit. But I feel like it's nervousness I can handle. It feels good. It feels good to be anxious and nervous a little bit. If you're just cruising along, like I said, you're doing it wrong.
Jimmy Eat World's The Amplified Echoes Tour with Manchester Orchestra still has some tour dates left across the country, so there is still time to score those tickets. That's a wrap for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Suzanne Marques. See you again next week on The Lot.